Good day, folks. My name is Bob Moss. I head up the worldwide SageMaker specialist team on AWS. One of my team's roles is to help customers such as yourselves adopt machine learning, and specifically SageMaker. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how you can modernize your ML environment and development to improve productivity and reduce costs. For today, we're going to discuss a number of things, starting with the opportunities and challenges with doing machine learning at scale, why customers modernize machine learning, and specifically on AWS and SageMaker. I'd like to discuss some great examples of successful ML modernization projects that we've seen with our customers, and then discuss strategies for how you can modernize your ML environment and how you measure success. And finally, I'm going to touch upon our ML Modernization Program, which is designed based upon our lessons learned and proven methodology that we've used with customers, and then how to get started with ML modernization. So as many of you know, Amazon itself is a great example of a company that went through a multi-year machine learning journey. Amazon has been applying ML in multiple areas for over 20 years, and it's an integral part of Amazon, and now it's an integral part of AWS. When you think about Amazon, a lot of folks think about Amazon.com and how we provide personalization models that help folks buy products that they find most appealing to them. And that model has significantly changed over time as it moved through different products and as it got integrated into Amazon Prime. But we also use machine learning in areas such as our fulfillment process. Think about the millions of packages every day and how critical it is to forecast the right products in the right location, in the right fulfillment centers, all to meet our customer requirements of quick and fast delivery. And then look at how we do billions of Alexa interactions and use natural language processing to give our consumers an entirely new way to interact with technology, something that wasn't possible when we first started our ML journey 20 years ago. And even now, as we look at developing groundbreaking technology with autonomous flight via prime air drones and using robotics to augment our fulfillment centers to help get packages to consumers faster. Machine learning is big at Amazon, but it didn't happen by mistake. It was a big cultural change for us and something that every organization can do. Now, as we think about machine learning, and we think about machine learning today, it is moving very quickly. And we're seeing more and more customers increasingly spend money on machine learning. For example, IDC predicts that spending on artificial intelligence and machine learning will reach $110 billion by 2024. At the same time as the spend is increasing, Gartner is estimating that 75% of enterprises are going to shift from piloting machine learning projects and into operationalizing them. That's a huge shift. While meanwhile, we're seeing machine learning handle real-world tasks, such as exploring new algorithms that are making it more available, open source tooling, and the cloud are all giving us the capability to have machine learning do these new tasks. And finally, ML is no longer something that's happening on the side within an enterprise. It is integrated into mainstream IT, and it is integrated into development operation processes. At Amazon, we are very happy to be helping our customers with this journey. As a matter of fact, AWS has over twice the number of machine learning based public references than any other provider. And the companies we work with range from very small startups to some of the largest customers in the world across all industries. And the logos you see on this slide are just a couple of the many examples that we have. But there are still challenges to operationalizing machine learning. So I want to touch on three areas. If you think about machine learning and how you scale machine learning infrastructure and managing very large clusters for training and inference, that can add complexity and overhead to machine learning teams. While they do that, The machine learning teams are also, or a lot of machine learning teams, have ad hoc and manual practices for collaboration among the engineers, the data scientists, IT, and ML ops. All of it combined make it extremely difficult to scale the ML team and their size. Additionally, when you think about improving a machine learning team's productivity, they need to keep up with the demands of new use cases from lines of business. Once they get one use case up and running and a line of business sees the potential and starts seeing the return on investment, there's more asks. And all of a sudden, those more asks require the machine learning team to accelerate their practice without necessarily growing their team size. And finally, when we start talking about total cost of ownership, ML teams often are dealing with underutilized and expensive compute resources, such as GPUs or instance clusters. And some ML teams, depending on the machine learning platform that they've elected to use or develop, they spend too much time developing and maintaining that environment instead of investing time primarily in data science and use case development. What we like to say is it's the undifferentiated heavy lifting that's dragging down and increasing this total cost. So the important question is, how do customers such as you address these challenges now, 12 months from now, and in the future? So a lot of times customers turn to AWS and they look at AWS to help them modernize their machine learning, and they look to advice and capabilities to address the three types of challenges that I just discussed. So first off, Amazon SageMaker can simplify cluster management and scale machine learning across teams with limited resources. For example, when Amazon.com adopted SageMaker, all of a sudden, Amazon.com started using SageMaker for millions of computer vision-based inferences per day in their fulfillment centers for their visual bin inspection. That allowed them to cut down their infrastructure costs by 40%. And so teams with hundreds of ML engineers and data scientists, they use SageMaker collaboration across their teams and to collaborate on use cases, data sets, notebooks, etc. And SageMaker Studio offers a fully managed machine learning experience through a common integrated development environment, or IDE, that provides that structure that allows that collaboration across these very large teams. And this is all backed by optimized versions of the most popular machine learning frameworks, including TensorFlow, PyTorch, MXNet. AWS also offers a broader choice of compute instances and accelerators relative to on-premises and other cloud providers, from training, such as Trainium, and hosting, Elastic Inference, and Inferentia, and GPU acceleration. Secondly, as we start looking at accelerating productivity, Amazon SageMaker provides a full suite of ML productivity tools. It helps machine learning scientists accelerate the pace of innovation. For example, companies that use SageMaker, such as Intuit, NFL, Mobileye, and DeepMap, are able to deploy models into production in weeks rather than months. And some of the new features that have been recently announced at reInvent last year, such as SageMaker Pipelines, SageMaker Data Wrangler, help customers standardize continuous integration and continuous delivery, or CI/CD, processes for ML. And it's a great example how we at AWS are listening to our customers and developing new capabilities in the ML ops environment to help customers with their ML ops environments. And again, this is backed by the broadest set of ML frameworks and infrastructure services. We provide things such as, or services such as Kinesis, Glue, EMR in the data processing space. And for orchestration, we provide services such as EKS and ECS. And we provide pre-configured images for deep learning. We provide high-speed networking with EFA and fully managed Airflow, as well as supporting open source tools such as Kubeflow. Finally, SageMaker can help you optimize infrastructure costs by up to 40%. We do this by efficiently freeing up ML infrastructure when jobs are complete. Trainium also delivers 40% better price performance than current GPU options, and Infra-1 instances lower hosting costs by 54% than G4DN instances. All of this helps customers like Amazon.com reduce their overall ML engineering costs, and it helps them reduce their ML engineering team size by 75%, allowing those resources to be freed up and focused on case implementation and product innovation. And they get rid of the undifferentiated heavy lifting. Now, when it comes to AWS customers, they look to us for guidance on how they can innovate with machine learning and modernize their infrastructure. And when it comes to machine learning services and a platform that is ready for the enterprises, Amazon SageMaker is the end-to-end solution for machine learning. Its capabilities span from data preparation all the way through to deploying your models on SageMaker, running the inferences, and monitoring them. We make machine learning easy through one-click training and deployment with built-in algorithms. Since it's a fully managed service, it's highly scalable. Customers do not have to worry about peak demand and trying to budget and allocate CPUs and GPU instances because of the highly scalable nature of SageMaker, and it's cost efficient. It's up to 70% cost reduction for data labeling, managed spot training, and the lowest cost inference in the cloud. And as with all AWS services, we put security first, and we provide a complete set of security features that are core to Amazon SageMaker. And as I mentioned earlier, we continue to innovate and continue to deliver new services for SageMaker, such as SageMaker pipelines and other features that are DevOps ready. This is all to help our customers provide a platform that really allows them to modernize their machine learning capabilities, and while at the same time reducing their top cost structure and their total cost of ownership versus developing their own self-managed ML in the cloud with a wide range of compliances and automated workflows. And all of this is backed by the broadest and deepest compute choices. We know that every machine learning project is different, with different compute needs. And we've built the broadest and deepest choice of compute, networking, and storage infrastructure to help our customers meet their unique performance and budget needs. And we're rapidly investing in this area to keep up with the growth of machine learning, the sophistication, and the capabilities. We're introducing new chips and instances that help our customers keep the cost of training down and inference down. For example, Inferentia provides the lowest cost per inference in the cloud, up to 45% lower cost and 30% higher throughput than comparable GPU instances. After migrating the vast majority of inferences to Infra-1, the Amazon Alexa team saw 25% lower end-to-end latency for their text-to-speech workloads. And customers such as Snap, FINRA, Autodesk, and Condé Nast use Infra-1 instances to get high performance and low-cost ML inference. Condé Nast, for instance, observed a 72% reduction in cost than the previously deployed GPU instances. And companies come to us and seek our advice and guidance for how they can successfully modernize machine learning on AWS and leveraging AWS services such as SageMaker. We like to point to 5 key pillars to the ML journey. And I'm going to touch on each of these in the coming slides. The first pillar is the ML first mindset and culture. It is a change curve. It is a change to drive from the top down how our company is going to use machine learning. The second key element is developing your team's ML skills. Where are your skills now, and where do they need to be a year from now and 3 years from now? And what types of skills do you want your team to have? The third thing is having a powerful data platform. Machine learning is only capable with having the right data that supports the right use cases that is available. Finally, choosing the right use cases is critical to building the initial couple projects and the initial successful wins that build momentum into future ones and then scale. So let me touch upon a couple initial steps that we've seen work successfully. So when we think about the ML first mindset culture, having executive sponsors at the C-suite level to think about machine learning and drive that mindset, and then start working backwards from your goals as a company. Depending on what industry you're in, depending on the size of your company, you could elect to have goals such as, we want to use machine learning to increase customer loyalty or reduce customer churn, or possibly to drive operational efficiencies, or it could be to grow revenue. But working backwards from your goals to drive those use cases is absolutely key. When it comes to developing your team's ML skills, enabling your teams, at AWS we provide immersion days and we do workshops, but think about a formal training program that you can push down and across your organization, across multiple lines of businesses, to make machine learning accessible and available. And having that training programs done so it's an a la carte menu that allows people to take it and it's approachable. The third thing is, as I discussed, data is key. It is foundational. So if you don't already have a data lake strategy, consider having a data lake strategy. Consider becoming a data-driven enterprise, or even if you're an AWS customer, consolidating some of your data in S3 to make it accessible to support your machine learning journey. Now, when it comes to choosing the right first project, if you can prove value quickly by possibly developing the first models, or if you've got ML models already in production, either on-prem or on another platform, and you're looking to modernize on SageMaker, picking the first one or two models to migrate onto SageMaker will provide value quickly and build the team's confidence, both in their capabilities and in their knowledge of the AWS platforms. Sometimes you'll want to phase your migration, doing inferencing first maybe, and then training, and then notebooks in that order. And then as you develop your machine learning models in SageMaker, leverage the AWS capabilities, such as our ML well architecture framework, to understand the best practices for how you can take advantage of us and our capabilities. And then measure before and after productivity metrics, both on the business side, but in this particular case, on the machine learning side. So consider things such as, what's your data scientist ratio to developer ratio? Or how many models can you deploy per quarter? And how fast can you go from the ideation of a new model to developing, to training it, to getting it into production? Those are absolutely key things that when you really have a modern ML environment, those are the key metrics that you know that you're best of breed in. When you're hitting those metrics and you're able to innovate more rapidly than you could do a month ago or a quarter ago. Now I'm going to talk about a couple examples here. And in this first one, I'll discuss Amazon and the Amazon Fulfillment Technologies, or AFT. That is the team within Amazon that designs, develops, and operates fulfillment technology solutions worldwide. They must monitor millions of global shipments annually. And they use internal visual bin inspection machine learning team that used to have a proprietary legacy computer vision-based software solution that would scan millions of images to identify misplaced inventory. But deploying, testing, training, and maintaining that solution was expensive, and it was time-consuming. And the team found that they couldn't build new capabilities to overcome the limitations, as it would take months of efforts. The solution also did not support piloting new models, in that it did not enable the team's new models to handle requests alongside the old models, nor did it allow the team to test it using real data without risking service disruption. The ML team working on this decided to evaluate Amazon SageMaker and has adopted Amazon SageMaker. It's helped the ML teams run experiments freely because they can release a feature for just a handful of warehouses and then expand to the rest after successful testing. Amazon SageMaker is scaled to handle demand spikes automatically, whereas previously they would have to order more hardware and delaying implementations until its delivery. So now, how does the AFT team quantify the benefits they're getting from modernizing their machine learning environment on SageMaker? The team that developed a new solution on SageMaker did it in just 12 weeks. By comparison, previously they would need 8 to 12 months to develop its legacy solution. It has also enabled the ML team to remove the Amazon Simple Queue service, a fully managed messaging queuing service, and Amazon S3 and object storage from its main ML pipeline. It saves it over 40% per month of AWS costs. When it launches in new fulfillment centers in new regions, it now expects to deploy Amazon SageMaker solution in 1 to 2 weeks, versus previously it would take 1 to 2 months with its legacy solution. So let me shift now and talk about one of our other customers, Lyft, and specifically Lyft Level 5. Lyft Level 5 drives a fleet of cars that collect massive amounts of data using LiDAR and camera sensors. A typical car can collect 10 terabytes of raw data by driving 8 hours per day. And with hundreds of vehicles in the fleet, including some of their passenger vehicles, it amounts to a massive amount of data. Unfortunately, Lyft at the time had built disparate ML environments and different pipelines and different tools, and it was exacerbated as the company acquired new companies that brought their own flavors of ML environments and tools, and it became difficult for the teams to collaborate with one another across these disparate siloed solutions. This lack of consistency of the ML environment slowed down the company, and it really impacted their agility and their time to market. Additionally, their costs were increasing due to lack of cost-efficient ways to manage the infrastructure and the resources such as GPUs. They elected to standardize on SageMaker for training across all of the Level 5 engineering teams. They chose it because with SageMaker, with just a single API call, they can launch ML training on GPU instances. SageMaker readily offered single-node distributed and managed spot training. And since SageMaker provides a fully managed training capability, Level 5 didn't have to make additional investments to maintain their environment. What was the business outcome for Lyft Level 5? In their own words, models that took days to train their previous ML solutions could now be trained in a couple of hours with an 8-node SageMaker distributed training job. That is what we call modernizing machine learning on SageMaker. Now, as we've worked with multiple customers, a lot of customers come to us and they've said, we have machine learning models already in production, and we'd like to modernize on SageMaker. And we've selected SageMaker as our platform of choice. And so we've designed the ML Modernization Program specifically to address customers such as you that want to modernize on SageMaker. It is a high-touch programmatic approach. We like to say it's a consultative approach that leverages the ML modernization best practices, and it complements other AWS machine learning programs. One of the key benefits also is for those customers that qualify, we do provide funding for third-party SIs that are part of our partner network and our ML competency partners to help with POCs and migrate those initial models. For those customers where they either don't have the bandwidth, the resources, and the skills to begin the modernization journey. Now, to qualify for this program, we would like our customers such as you to have ML models currently in production on another platform, and they're looking to migrate those ML models onto SageMaker. And they've got goals for consolidated and standardized machine learning platforms and practices on SageMaker. We would like permission to use your logo and a commitment to a joint case study. And for those folks that qualify, we look for a spending commitment of a minimum of $150K on SageMaker to make sure that it's a joint investment in this journey together. We take a phased approach on a proven methodology. And again, it's a consultative approach where we spend time from phase 0 all the way through phase 4. And it's driven by experience, such as the people, process, technologies, and funding. We have ML experts across the AWS service, solution architects, and professional services teams that are capable and ready to assist you on your journey. We have processes, program plans, and architectural best practices, as well as sizing tools, total cost of ownership, and pricing tools. We have technologies as well as working sessions such as workshops, immersion days, solution templates. And as I mentioned, we do provide funding for those customers that qualify. This is one element of how we can assist customers such as yourselves to modernize their ML architecture on SageMaker. Now, how can you get started on your journey to modernize your machine learning environment? AWS provides immersion days, workshops, and POC supports. We also provide architecture reviews and guidance. We have Amazon Professional Services, and as I mentioned, we have a fantastic partner network through the Amazon Partner Network, both GSIs, regional, and boutique partners, and we provide training and certifications. So please talk to your account managers about all of these things that are available to you. We also provide resources to get started with SageMaker. So if you are interested, you can get started by looking at some video series. You can take 10-minute tutorials, and there's online workshops. So if you want to do self-paced learnings, you can. Please reach out to AWS account managers and your account solution architects to start your ML journey. So I want to thank you today for your time. It's been my pleasure talking to you about what we've seen as best practices in modernizing machine learning on AWS. Thank you very much.